Well, g'day everyone and welcome back to the channel. Tonight I am doing a no-knead artisan style bread, but I'm spicing it up a little and I'm adding in my homemade pumpkin flour because I want to add some pumpkin flavour to the bread. So we've got 2.5 cups of just the plain flour, baking flour, and 1/2 cup of my homemade pumpkin flour. So as you can see, that's a little bit coarser than normal flour. We'll add some texture in to the bread, but that's absolutely fine. That's pretty much what I'm after. Okay, to that I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of yeast, add a 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and lastly we're going to add in a 1.5 cups of water. Now this is a no knead, so we want a fairly wet dough for it. So just using a knife to bring it all together. And that water needs to be warm water. That'll help with the rising process. Okay. As I thought might happen by going with the pumpkin flour instead of normal flour, it's ended up pretty dry. If you're doing it normally, it's just 3 cups of flour, but because the pumpkin flour is a dehydrated product, it dries things out a little bit, so we'll just add some more water to it. Always when you're adding extra, just go a little bit at a time, just so you can keep an eye on the consistency and not end up going too far. A little bit dry, so that's an extra 1/2 cup of it that I've added in. Make sure we got all the goodies from around the edge. Mix that in at the center. Okay, we're just going to cover that up with plastic. And we'll just leave that rest in a nice warm place for it to double in size around about 2-3 hours. Just depends on the temperature in your house at the time. All right, folks, there we are. It has risen up, as you can see. Okay, and it's nice and bubbly in the center. And as you can see, it's got a jelly-like consistency. That's ideal. It's full of air. So perfect for what we're after. So we're just going to turn it out on a floured bench. Okay, just use some die scraper, make sure I get all that goodness. Just want to bring the edges back in on itself. The main thing we're doing at this stage is we're just bringing that air back out of it. So we're always folding it into that middle. What we're going to do for the next part is we're going to put it on a piece of baking paper or baking parchment. So we're picking it up. We're turning it over so all those seams are back down. Okay, once we're on there, we'll just roughly bring it into the shape that we're after. Don't stress about the lumpy and bumpy parts, they're gonna make it crusty. Alright, so there we go, that's roughly the shape we're after. Next, how I'm gonna cook it. I'll talk about it first because when I do it, I wanna move pretty quick. I'm cooking it in a cast iron container. So in my case, it's a cast iron casserole dish. You can use a Dutch oven or something like that. That will help to steam the bread as it cooks, same as a professional baker's steam oven, and will help to get that spring of a rise and also keep it nice and crusty on the outside. So I'm gonna cook it for 30 minutes with the lid on, and then I'm gonna cook it for another 15 minutes. Now I'm cooking it high. It is cooking at 230 Celsius or 450 Fahrenheit. At the moment, my cast iron container is already in there. It's already coming up to heat with the oven. So you don't want to put it in the cast iron and then put it in there because that defeats the purpose. You want to have that nice hot cast iron so you're getting steam straight out of this. Straight into there. Just trim off the excess paper. Lid back on. That's already in an oven right there. All right, there we go. There is our beautiful loaf. I'm just gonna clean that out. Tape it down. Hot. Okay, as with any bread, we want to leave it at least 20 minutes before we cut it open. Otherwise, we're going to ruin the crumb on the inside. So, as hard as it is to do, it's got to sit there for 20 minutes. We'll come back, I'll crack it open and try a piece of it, and you can see what it's like. As you can hear, nice hollow sound to the bottom of it. all good. All right, folks, it's cooled as much as I'm gonna wait for. I can't leave a loaf of bread sitting for that long. Let's get that cooling rack out of the way. Probably could have cooled it for a little bit longer, but hey. Could also put a chopping board down. Okay. Have a look at that. Beautiful crumb in it. Okay, fresh bread needs a bit of butter on it. That is actually a really nice loaf. Just a mild hint of the pumpkin flavour to it. It's not super strong. It just gives a little bit of a subtle taste to it. And yeah, it tastes fantastic. All right, thank you very much everyone for watching, and bye for now.